What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're talking about a brand new Hulu release, The United States vs. Billie Holiday. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this movie were, if you already saw it, if you were excited for it, if you weren't planning on seeing it. Let me know in the comments so we can discuss. Also, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these reviews, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there and growing the community. And if you are new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. But let's not waste any more time and let's talk about the United States versus Billie Holiday. This stars Andra as Holiday, and it follows her during her career as she is targeted by the Federal Department of Narcotics, an undercover sting operation led by Black Federal Agent Jimmy Fletcher, played by Trevante Rhodes, with whom she had a tumultuous affair. This is written by Laurie Parks and is directed by Lee Daniels, who also gave us films like Precious and The Butler, and it managed to pick up a few award nominations ahead of its release, most notably 2 Golden Globe nominations for Andra and Best Original Song, with Andra winning. So that, combined with the fact that Daniels has made some solid films before, even if he's not totally consistent, seemed like things would be promising for this one. Starting off in the 1940s, the film opens with some text to let us know the mood of the time. Holiday has been the subject of controversy due to her song Strange Fruit, which protested the lynching of Black Americans, and the text explains some of the history surrounding that, and it leads to a pretty solid opening 10 minutes or so. We also get federal agents who hold meetings and try to find ways in which they can end Holiday's career, namely going after her over drug addiction. But once her addiction's been established early on, unfortunately from there, the film shifts gears from being a possibly meaningful statement on racism and race relations, and instead goes for a very melodramatic approach discussing the subject of drug addiction, though never actually offering anything meaningful to say on the subject. The film becomes an endless barrage of scenes consisting either of Holiday simply talking about her addiction, others mentioning her addiction, as well as scenes of us watching her shooting up heroin. And the entire thesis of the film suddenly seems to become how Holiday was a great singer, but she just had this one problem, though it never bothers to scratch the surface beyond that. Which is a shame because Andra is pretty solid here, and her commitment to the role is one of the only noteworthy elements about this film. She really brings out some of that emotional turmoil Holiday was experiencing out to the forefront, and it does allow us to connect with her periodically. But the film's often confusing and unfocused narrative really undermines her performance. While initially the film is told in flashbacks with Holiday recounting her experiences to someone, the point of view will shift, and this goes on to employ a narrative tactic coincidentally shared by another film from this year, Judas and the Black Messiah. Part of the film is told through Fletcher's point of view and how he got closer to Holiday in order to conduct this sting operation that lands her in jail. But then he feels bad for what he did, and as this attempt at a redemption arc, he strikes up a romance with her, and we focus on the fact that he too was also an addict. Now, the fact that I read the romance didn't last as long as the film states aside, I don't understand what this fascination is with telling a historical event like this, or the downfall of a major figure like Holiday, through the point of view of an informant or an agent like Fletcher. While Trevante Rhodes was fine, and I had no issues so much with his performance, I just don't understand why we're being asked to feel so much sympathy for someone who effectively played a major part in ruining someone else's life like this, especially given the nature of why Holiday was targeted in the first place. Like, I'm always down for films with complex characters, but here it feels incredibly disingenuous from a historical standpoint, and then from a storytelling view, it takes so much focus away from Holiday herself, who we barely ever get a chance to really get to know other than hitting us with the same note over and over again about her addiction, seemingly forgetting everything that made those first few minutes so powerful. For a movie that includes Billie Holiday's name in the title, there feels like there was quite an emotional distance from Holiday herself. The film falls into some of the usual tropes that go with biopics, condensing major events and glossing over them, including another brief narrative shift where we focus on Natasha Lyonne as Delula Bankhead, who may or may not have had an affair with Holiday, but she comes and goes so quickly that it's almost a blink and you miss it role, and we're left wondering why the film even bothered to show us anything from her point of view in the first place. It also has some really cheap production values, giving off the look and feel of a made-for-TV movie, with some really poorly lit scenes and bland cinematography that made it hard to take it seriously at certain points. The film felt very heavy-handed in its approach, and what's even more aggravating is how it chose to highlight one of Holiday's most troubling qualities without offering much to say on the subject itself, rather than giving us a meaningful tribute to a legendary singer who had so much more to her. And this feels like an insult to her legacy. Yeah, this one just didn't work for me. This could have been a beautiful tribute to Holiday, and it started off on the right note, but while Andra gives it her all here, her performance alone ultimately isn't enough to save this movie. Half the film isn't even from Holiday's perspective, and instead presents things partially from the person who betrayed her, and tries to give him an unnecessary redemption arc that I felt was undeserved. This is also on top of the fact that it barely scratches the surface of who Holiday was outside of the fact that she had a drug addiction. It has a largely unfocused narrative, a melodramatic feel, and some poor production values that makes this a film you can easily skip. The United States versus Billie Holiday gets a 4 out of 10. So let me know, did you see the United States versus Billie Holiday, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you enjoy Andra Day's performance? Do you have a favorite biopic? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.